In the quiet suburbs, where every lawn was perfectly manicured and every family seemed to have it all, Mark and Clara were the couple everyone admired. They were high school sweethearts, married for 10 years, with 2 beautiful children, a cozy home, and a life that looked like a modern-day fairy tale. Mark, a dedicated architect, worked tirelessly to provide for his family, believing he was building a foundation of love and trust that would last a lifetime. Clara, a stay-at-home mom, was the heart of their home, always there with a warm meal and a loving smile. To Mark, she was perfect. She was his rock, his confidant, his forever. He couldn't imagine a single day without her. But sometimes, the most perfect pictures hide the most painful secrets. For a while, everything seemed normal. But then, small, almost imperceptible changes began to surface. Clara started spending more time on her phone, smiling at messages she wouldn't share. She began having girls' nights more frequently, coming home late with vague stories and a distant look in her eyes. Mark tried to brush it off. He told himself he was being paranoid, that he needed to trust the woman he loved. After all, they had built a life together, a family. But a seed of doubt had been planted, and it was beginning to grow, casting a long, dark shadow over their idyllic life. He'd ask her about her day, and her answers became shorter, less detailed. The warmth that once defined their conversations was slowly being replaced by a chilling silence. The turning point came one Tuesday morning. Mark was working from home, a rare occurrence, when he noticed Clara seemed unusually anxious. She was getting ready to go out, supposedly to a book club meeting. She kissed him goodbye, but it felt rushed, mechanical. As she left, her phone, which she usually guarded like a fortress, lay on the kitchen counter. A notification lit up the screen, a message from a name he didn't recognize. "Can't wait to see you." Same place. Mark's heart pounded in his chest. It could be innocent, he reasoned, but his gut screamed otherwise. The doubt he had been suppressing now roared to life. He knew he couldn't live with the uncertainty any longer. The not knowing was eating him alive. He had to find out the truth, no matter how much it might hurt. Driven by a desperate need for answers, Mark made a decision that would change his life forever. He remembered a small, discreet security camera he had bought months ago for the house, but had never set up. His hands trembled as he placed it on a bookshelf in their living room, camouflaged among family photos and trinkets. It felt like a betrayal, a violation of the trust he cherished. But the fear of being deceived was even greater. He just needed to know. He hoped, he prayed, that the camera would show him nothing but his own paranoia. He wanted to be wrong. He wanted to see her come home, maybe with a new book, and realize how foolish he'd been. As he left the house for a client meeting, a heavy sense of dread settled over him. Later that evening, sitting alone in his car a few blocks from his own home, Mark opened the live feed on his phone. His heart hammered against his ribs. For a while, the living room was empty and silent. He was about to turn it off, feeling a mix of relief and shame, when the front door opened. But it wasn't just Clara who walked in. A man he'd never seen before was with her, and they weren't just talking. They were laughing, holding hands. Mark watched in stunned silence as his wife, the mother of his children, the woman he had sworn to love forever, let another man into their home. The camera captured every moment, every touch, every glance that confirmed his worst fears. The world he had so carefully built crumbled around him in an instant. He watched as they moved through the living room, the space where his kids played, where they'd celebrated birthdays and holidays. He saw her smile at this stranger with an intimacy that was once reserved only for him. The man leaned in and kissed her. The hidden camera, which he had hoped would clear his doubts, was instead broadcasting the complete and utter destruction of his marriage. Each second of the footage was a new layer of betrayal. It wasn't a misunderstanding. It wasn't a fling. This was a calculated deception happening in the heart of their family home. The pain was physical, a crushing weight on his chest that made it hard to breathe. The woman on the screen was a stranger. Numb with shock and a grief so profound it felt like a part of him had died, Mark drove away. He didn't go home. He couldn't. He checked into a sterile, impersonal hotel room. For hours, he just sat there, replaying the video in his mind. The images burned into his memory. The smiling faces in the family photos on his phone now seemed like a cruel joke. Every shared memory, every promise, every "I love you" was now tainted by this devastating truth. He felt a storm of emotions, blinding anger, deep sorrow, and a sense of foolishness for having been so blind. How long had this been going on? Who was this man? The questions swirled in his mind, each one more painful than the last. His perfect life was a lie. The next morning, Mark returned home. The house felt alien, cold. Clara was in the kitchen, humming a tune as she made coffee, as if it were just another ordinary day. She greeted him with a bright good morning, "Honey?" The normalcy of it all was sickening. He looked at her, truly looked at her, and saw not the woman he loved, but the stranger from the video. He couldn't pretend. With a voice devoid of all emotion, he simply said, "We need to talk." He calmly placed his phone on the table and played the video. Clara's face went from confusion to shock, then to pale horror as she watched her own betrayal unfold. The humming stopped. The silence in the room was deafening, broken only by the sounds from the video that confirmed their marriage was over. There were tears, excuses, and pleas for forgiveness. She said it was a mistake, that it meant nothing, that she still loved him, but the words were hollow. Trust, once shattered, cannot be easily pieced back together. For Mark, the image of her with another man in their home was a wound that would never fully heal. He thought of his children, and his heart ached. He knew the road ahead would be difficult, filled with lawyers, custody battles, and painful conversations. But staying in a marriage built on a foundation of lies was no longer an option. The hidden video didn't just reveal her true face, it revealed the truth he needed to see to finally set himself free. It was the painful end of one chapter, but also the necessary heartbreaking beginning of a new one. This story is a sobering reminder that sometimes the people we think we know best can hide the deepest secrets. It's a story about betrayal, but also about the strength it takes to face a painful truth and choose a new path. If you've ever faced a similar situation, know that you are not alone, and healing is possible, even if it seems impossible right now. Thank you for listening. If this story resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more real-life stories. Your support means the world to us.